I'm here today during the mission with Dr. Alexander Belov, who's our specialist in nautical architecture. So, Alex, what exactly is a nautical archaeologist, and what do you do on board the Princess Tudor?
Well, my specialty and my interest mainly in archaeology concerns ships, nautical, their construction, and ancient navigation. And I came here with maybe one of the first missions which was started by Frank in Egypt. It was 1999. And here we had a rare opportunity to study ships, and that's why I take a lot of interest in this subject.
Mm-hmm. So we've got about maybe 200 ships in total from Thonis-Heracleion, so it is the greatest concentration of ancient ships in the world, really, and it's a phenomenal opportunity for us to look at different types of vessels and maybe how it changes over quite a small period of time. So, out of all of them, what's your favourite ship that we've looked at?
Yeah, absolutely, and here we have an exceptional conservation conditions for the ships, because normally the wood is quite a fragile element, but here this waterlogged wood, it was covered with clayish sediments of the Nile, which in fact sealed the wood, sealed the house, and so there was no access to the oxygen, no access to marine fauna.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the conservation conditions are exceptional. And you asked about my favorite ship. Maybe it was my first one, which I excavated, gaining an experience, and afterwards basing my PhD thesis on this ship, which is ship 17, which was a local freighter built of local species of wood, of local acacia, and which showed many interesting parallels with the description by Herodotus in the middle of 5th century BC.
That one is certainly a fascinating ship, and since then you've gone on to look at several more here in Thonis-Heracleion. And you've developed your specialism, so not only are you a nautical archaeologist, but you're also studying the different sorts of wood that we have. So I wondered if you could tell us just a little bit more about studying wood. Why do we do it?
There is a close connection between naval architecture and at this time we cannot think of a ship built of other materials than wood. So now we're on a metal built ship, but before it was not possible, and the choice of wood was very important. So in Egypt we have a lack of wood which was well adapted for naval architecture, except for the wood which they imported from Lebanon, from Cyprus, but this wood was expensive, so mainly local ships were built of local woods. We're trying to trace this, and what it gives us, in fact, it's the possibility to understand where the ship was built and in which region of the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm. So now you're looking at the wood species that from the particular ships that we've excavated recently. Could you show us how you take the samples and how you look at it?
Sure, with pleasure. So usually you take a sample of this size, just to be sure that you will have some undamaged wood inside, not too much eroded by marine fauna. And then we have to determine the grain of the wood, the position of fibers. So let's say now I will cut a small cube of this wood, like this. So now in fact it's in the miniature, it's a stem of the tree, if you want. So the tree was growing like that, and we will cut it transversely. now with the blade. Then we cut it tangentially, that is the plane which just touches the surface of the trunk, and radially. So now you can see we have quite nice piece of wood which shows different anatomical features on all the sides. Now we can take a sharper blade, a new one, to be able really to cut a very thin section of wood, because we have to obtain something which will be transparent, so on the microscope we will see all the anatomical features.
And different species of wood all have different anatomical features in them.
Yes, it's all about that. With these features you can determine the wood species. So we have this transversal cut, and now we can go to radial section here. As you can see, the specimen is really tiny. But afterwards, on the microscope, there will be magnification of, for some features, just 50 times magnification is sufficient. You can obtain it even with powerful lens. But for some features, especially in softwoods, you have to go to 100, 200 times magnification, and here the microscope is indispensable.
That's fantastic. And so you do these for virtually every timber on the ships that we excavate, so that we get a really thorough look at how they're made, what they're made of, and this enables us to look at all of those interesting questions.
Absolutely, because in fact on one ship you can discover, and usually discover, the wide variety of species, and you can see how they used normally hardwoods for transversal structure, for frames, and conifers for the planking, at least in the Mediterranean region. Mm-hmm. This is a very interesting process. In fact, it's a kind of little investigation in itself to find out which tree it was. There is some experience which is gained each day, and I'm very thankful to a student of yours, Tina Roshanov, who's my first teacher in this domain, so now I can do it myself.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Alex.
You're welcome. Thank you.